And hello everyone, today we have a new mold. Kind of a complex mold with a lot of different parts. I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit bigger, to be honest, but I still think I can make something cool with it. So we're gonna go ahead and paint this one and see how it comes out. I think I'm going to start with one of the deepest and lowest parts of the mold, which is definitely going to be the center of the flower. Just going to dab some of that around because we don't want to waste, or rather I don't like to waste. I am so stingy with it that I would save every speck of mica powder if I could, because I feel like it all deserves to get used. And that looks like a good enough purple. And I'm just going to kind of speed some of this up, otherwise it would be a very long video of just watching me slowly and meticulously paint things. It would be nice if I could paint things this quickly in real life. I wonder how many molds I could get done a minute if I went that fast. And I am using a flat-edged brush because it's easier to get into these little grooves with it. So far, and this is the thing I like about confection molds, I wish they would do this with every mold, is that they all hold that color very well. It's made very similar to the way the mermaid molds that you've seen me color on this channel are made. Now we're going to cap that. Don't have to make all the center of the flowers yellow. I have this kind of bronze brown that's kind of fun. I think I might actually use it for this one. Just getting some variation into that is going to make it a lot more of an interesting piece. And I really do like to have a lot of variety in my art pieces. Also, coloring the center of the flowers first kind of gives me more of an idea of how they're spaced out. And this is a scarlet mica powder that I've used quite a few times to do flowers and roses in the past, and I like it very much because it's very deep and it's very shiny. That edged brush really is very useful for getting into those grooves. Highly recommend it if you're painting a piece that's like this. Now let's see what my next one shall be. I think I'm going to go ahead and do another rose, and I'm going to use a rose gold on this. And we can have two that are rose gold, because why not? They're on opposite ends. Had a little piece of something stuck in there, so I'm going to remove it with my toothpick. And now we can go back to covering this area, all in beautiful rose gold. I'm just going to touch up this other one here. So now we've got some red, we've got some purple, we've got some rose gold. I think we need to get some yellow in here. So this looks like it's either a daisy or a sunflower. I'm just going to treat it like a sunflower for the purpose of this project. We can add a couple of more of the red roses, because why not? And I really do love that color. It is one of my favorite micas. Let's put another in the corner here. Get a couple of more of the centers done. It's like I said, marking the centers kind of really does give you some idea of where all the different flowers are. It looks easy on camera, but when you're holding it closer to your face, everything just looks white sometimes. So it's good to kind of put down some markers of where you're meant to go next. And I'm going to kind of clean that up with the alcohol. Got a little bit of red where I didn't really want red. I'm coming over with some blue, a nice powdery blue, because we don't have any blue flowers in here, and that is criminal. I love blue. And I don't mind kind of getting a little bit of the middle to space out and blend into the blue, because that's kind of what some flowers do in nature. Make the center of this one yellow, because I've got a lot of the others that are bronze already. I'm just going to kind of trace the crack of that flower first. A little bit of red. I really do like how detailed and how finely cut this one is. I think I'm going to actually make us a white flower, because we don't have too many white flowers. I do again think it would have been great if this mold would have been a little bit bigger, but I'll hold my judgment until I see how this piece comes out, because I have an idea of what I might be able to still do with it. I feel like you don't really have a bouquet without some pink. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of that in there. Some of that salmony pink. I considered whether or not to cut some of this because it's turning out to be such a long video, but that's honestly just the way the process goes when you have a lot of moving parts. And this mold has a lot of moving parts. While I'm watching what I recorded, I'm trying to count how many flowers, different flowers, are actually in these things. It's a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if there's easily 50 flowers in this little mold. And I'm using a different variety of blues and teals, darker blues. When in doubt, when you're running out of ideas for color, just use different shades of the same color. Got a deeper purple there. There's always different ways you can add variation to this. And you can even cluster certain colors in one area if you care to. It's honestly the hardest thing to see on this mold are the leaves. The flowers are pretty easy to pick out. It's the foliage that I'm having a bit of an issue discerning. And now we're here finally with everything painted and we're ready to pour some resin. I'm gonna mix up a resin that has a white mica powder base because I feel like I want this to come out relatively bright, and white usually promotes the brightness and picks up the colors pretty well. Hard to go wrong with it. I think it took maybe about 6 ounces. I might have done 8 because I have a few more little pieces in the background that I was also working on. This was also made like many of my other art projects that you'll see coming out in the next couple of days, possibly weeks. You'll see that I have other molds surrounding it, because I had an art festival around the same time and I needed to work on multiple things. We've got a few bubbles coming up on this that I'm going to take some alcohol and spray lightly over the surface. Unfortunately, it seems that a lot of time the more details and the more cracks that a mold has, the more bubbles form. I'm not quite sure there's a way to prevent that. It's just something that happens. But at least in the case of this project, it's not overly important because we're not going to be showing the back anyway. Not if I'm going to do what I believe I plan to do with this, but I'm still going to spray it anyway because they just offend me. But you'll be able to see in real time that most of them popped anyway. The process when spread up actually looks a bit trippy. It looks like there's a bunch of like super active roiling bubbles in a resin bubble bath. They actually pop a lot slower than that, but it does show that as it was settling into the mold, at least a lot of them were dissolving and popping, which is great. That's what we prefer to see. Now what I decided to do was I had a bunch of these in my crafting closet that I wasn't doing anything with, and it turns out that they are crazily enough, I didn't predict this, I didn't plan this, but was the exact same size as the demolded flower mold. And I've decided that actually I want to take some acrylic paint and paint it black. Kind of see if we can't get a little bit of a chiaroscuro effect going on for these flowers. And again, I'm just using a flat-edged brush. One of the best things, well, for painting edges. I'm gonna go ahead and state the obvious, but it's one of the best things for like just getting into edges and cracks. And adding a little bit of water to that paint as I go. You're gonna wanna add a little bit of water, dip your brush in the water a lot when you're painting wood. Wood is a lot thirstier than canvas. And that looks like that's going to be a very nice black. While I have a dry piece to hold on to, I'm going to go ahead and get the outside edges so that we've got that color spread out evenly. Get all in between. And this is why edged brushes are in fact the best. Now the resin is cured, the paint has dried, all the tedious stuff is done. Now we just need to see how this comes together. And like I said, it's crazy ironic that this just happened to fit perfectly. I didn't plan that. I ordered the mold thinking the mold looked cool, and I had this sitting in my closet for God knows how long, and it just happened to fit. So I've got gloves on because I'm working with adhesive, and you're going to want to wear your gloves. You definitely don't want to get this stuff on your skin. Don't think it's as fast drying as super glue, but I mean still, it probably causes some kind of weird cancer. Wear gloves. Always err on the side of caution. Wear gloves. But I love this to use the adhesive to get this stuff tacked down, because once it is dry, it is definitely not going anywhere. I repeat, not going anywhere. And we're just going to set that lovely, beautiful piece like so. I'm just making sure, using my hands to make sure that it's centered and all even. And I think that looks really great with the wood painted black in the background. And I'm just going to put that away to also dry. Another 24 hours later. Aren't you glad you can just time jump like this and you don't have to wait? Now that we have that tacked onto there and it's not going anywhere, we want to arrange to have a certain way for it to be able to be hung on the wall. And I've chosen these string of pearl beads. I've used them for quite a few pieces before in the past. I think that's going to look really nice when all put together. So that's what we're going to use. And I'm just kind of putting down some masking tape to hold things in place so that it doesn't move around a lot when I glue it. I might actually, after I put all of this down, use some super glue on the first half just to keep it from moving anywhere, because the biggest challenge of attaching any of these hangers that are ribbons or beads is just getting them to lie flat and not to move. Now let me just get past this part and we'll time jump into a beautiful finished piece. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I really love how that turned out. Nice overall. And if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It will help my small channel grow. And I will see you in the next art story. Bye for now.